morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a lovely Monday so far. Your math should be done. Got ready for language. It is Monday, so we need to stretch. Touch your toes. And maybe become more flexible. You do jumping jacks. You could walk out to the end of the lane and back with your parents' permission. Make sure you're all awake, ready for today's lesson. All right, we are ready for lesson 145, page 262. Lesson 145, page 262. Let me make sure I started the video. I'm having a deja vu moment that I don't think I did. Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Page 262, we're going to jump right on in. So let's read our instructions. If the italicized word is used incorrectly, draw a neat line, emphasize neat, I don't want it sloppy, through the word and put the correct word in the blank. If the italicized word is correct, write correct in the blanks to the left, blank to the left. Let's review. We talked about this Friday, I'm thinking. Let's see. Yes, Friday. So it might be a little bit blurry in your mind. So let's review. We talked about different word meanings. We use particular words depending on what we're talking about. So can be counted. There are two words that we use when we're talking about things that can be counted. So we use fewer and we use number. When we're talking about things that can be counted, people, chairs, desks, trees, leaves, animals, those all can be counted. If you're talking about an object that cannot be counted, we use the word less or amount. Let me give you an example, flour. You cannot count flour. You don't say, I have 6 flowers. No. If I'm talking about flour like you bake bread with, not pretty flowers, because you can count pretty flowers. But if you're talking about bread flour, you cannot count that. Or sugar or salt or rain. You cannot count those. Let's see if there are any others. We can come back to that if I think of any more. We also talked about may and can, the correct usage. We often use can incorrectly. May means permission. If you're asking permission, if you're getting permission, you should use may. Can means ability, the ability to do something. Between, hopefully you can see this. We also talked about between and among. Between means two things or people. You can be talking about two things or people or countries or anything that has two. It cannot be more than that. Think about in between. It must only have two. The pens are in between the water bottle and the hand sanitizer. Make sure you be using hand sanitizer. In between, it must have two things. If you use among, more than two things. If we add, the timer is among the pens, the water bottle, and the hand sanitizer. You would use among because it's more than two things. So we're going to be reviewing. You must go slow on think, be. You must think about, is this correct or is this not? I don't want you to just be writing it down. The first thing that comes to your mind, you need to be using these if you get stuck. We're going to do the first three together. Number 1, the contest ended in a tie between Amy and Emily. Ask yourself, what are your key clue words? Well, obviously between. Your clue words are also Amy and Emily. 2 girls. Would between be correct? Yeah. Between 2 things, 2 people. It is correct. So you would write correct in the blank. Number 2. Less students tried out for the play this year than expected. I want you to be using your brain and your critical thinking skills. It will be kind of hard to remember which ones you can't be counted, which ones can be counted. That's why you have the board. That's why you can look back in your work. Less can't be counted. What are you trying to count here? Clue word, what is it? What are they trying to count? You're trying to count students. Can you count students? Yes, you can. There are 5 students. But they're using a word that you use when you can, when you can count people. So you would cross out less, and you would write fewer. So the correct sentence is, fewer students tried out for the play this year than expected, because you can count students. Let's go to number 3. Robin Hood can shoot an arrow straighter than anyone in all of England, said Little John. If you haven't read Robin Hood, you should. It's kind of a cool story. I like it. They use can, which means can means ability. Is it talking about something that Robin Hood can do, or is it talking about how he's asking permission for something? It's talking about his ability. He is better than anyone else in England. That's ability, so it would be correct. So you would write correct in the blanks. Go slow for the rest. I don't want to see a lot wrong. Use your critical thinking skills and use the board to help you. Write C. Read the directions below. Write your sentences on notebook paper. Get out a notebook paper. Number 1. Write a sentence using the word fewer, referring to something in your classroom. Fewer can be counted. There are many things in this classroom that can be counted. Write a sentence about that. Let me give you an example. There are fewer students than desks in this classroom. I can count students, I can count desks. You should use fewer. Use objects that can be counted. There are fewer students than desks in this classroom. Write a sentence of your own. You can pause it while you do it. Alright, this is just an idea. You can do not use my sentence. You can use something that's similar, but do not copy off me, because your brains are smart enough to come up with something on your own. Let's go to number 2. Write an interrogative. That is a clue word. Tells you what to do. Ask a question. There must be a question. Make sure you have a question mark. Write an interrogative sentence using the word may. Make sure it has a proper end mark. May means permission. It's a question. You can be talking to your mom, you can be talking to me, you can be talking to, probably it's a person because you're asking a question. May I go outside? May I have 10 cookies? May I have a back rub? May I have a drink of water? Pause the video and write a sentence down. Number 3, write a sentence using the word amount, referring to something in your kitchen. Follow your instructions. It needs to be about something in your kitchen. It needs to be using the word amount, which cannot be counted. Remember the objects or the food items that I often use as an example that can't be counted. Flour, sugar, salt. Those cannot be counted. We have a large amount of flour in our cupboard. That's just an option. Don't use my option. Think of your own sentence, but you can get ideas from what I gave you. There is a large amount of flour in our cupboard. That would be a correct usage for amount. That's for number 3. Pause it. Write a sentence of your own. Number 4. Write a sentence using the word among. Include the names of some of your classmates. Alright, so you obviously are not seeing your classmates right now, so you can write about them. I have one example on the board. Hunter sits among Sarah, Allie, and Carrie when school is in session, which is not right now. Look at the word among. Among, more than 2 things or people. If I would just have this, it would be incorrect. Hunter sits among Sarah and Allie. That is incorrect, because it's 2 people. But since I added Carrie, which would make it more than 2, it's wonderful. Hunter sits among Sarah, Allie, and Carrie. The timer is among the pens, water bottle, and hand sanitizer. Think of a sentence that uses the word among. Ooh, this one will not work. Why? Because our instructions say Include the names of some of your classmates. It could be talking about PE, about who you were with in PE. Think about it, see if you can come up with something. You can do something similar to this, but do not copy my sentence. And it does not change, well, I'm trying to decide, because you can just change the names, but don't change the names. See if you can come up with an original sentence on your own. All right, that's right, C. You can pause the video and finish that. Let's go to remember D. Write the plurals of the following singular nouns. What does singular mean? Singular means hunter. What does singular mean? Singular means one. All right, we're going to do the first three together. You can have your pencil ready. Leaf, one leaf. How would we make it plural? Two or more things. We would change, Elise, what would we do? We would change the F to V and add ES. Foot. Do I have 2 foots? No, I have 2 feet. All right. Number 3, life. I have 1 life. Okay, how do we make that plural? We say that cats sometimes have, is it 7 lives or 9 lives? I forget. Change the lives, change the F to V, add ES. All right, do the rest by yourself. If you get stuck, go to page 34. That's way back there. We learned about it a long time ago. On page 34, it gives you the 7 plural rules. I want you to look back if you get stuck. Turn the page. We're about done, y'all. We're just going to discuss we're going to read page 263. Follow along. This room, talking about the above picture, and its occupant are certainly sloppy. Can you think of another word that means the same as sloppy that would describe the scene? Remember when we were working on our reports and we got the computers out and we took highlighters and we went through our report and we found so many words that we used a lot. Kind of maybe boring words or overused words. And then we typed it into the computer and they gave us really exciting words that we could choose from. What was that called? It was called a thesaurus. I shouldn't spell it wrong. So we're changing our focus from dictionary to thesaurus. So what we are going to do, I'm going to continue reading, second paragraph on page 263. Well, I'm going to start the second sentence, paragraph 1. Can you think of another word that means the same as sloppy that would describe the scene? What other word could we say instead of sloppy? Maybe a more exciting word, a more juicy word that would describe the picture above. Any ideas? You should rack your brain first, but then if you can't think of anything, look into the thesaurus, either online or in a book, and I'll tell you a lot of synonyms, which means the same thing. So synonyms, words that have the same or nearly the same meaning. Second paragraph. If not, you should use a thesaurus. A thesaurus is a special kind of dictionary that helps you find interesting words to use in your writing. Unlike a dictionary, a thesaurus does not give definitions. Instead, it lists the synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms, words that have the same or nearly the same meaning. Antonyms, words that have opposite meanings. Last paragraph. The best known thesaurus was written by Peter Mark Rosé. I needed the pronunciation for that last word because I was saying rojette or something like that. That's why we need the pronunciation guide so he can help us know how to say it. So that last name is pronounced Rosé. A British physician in 1852. Rosé's thesaurus of English words and phrases in various revised versions has been helping writers to find synonyms and antonyms for about 160 years. Okay. Turn the page. You do not have to do anything on this page, but you should be listening. Pencils down. We are talking about the word sloppy. Find the word sloppy on the thesaurus page. Go. Find it. under number 1, number 2, and then number 3. For number 1, they will give the synonyms first. Words that have the same or nearly the same meaning. So instead of sloppy, you could say slushy, splashy, wet, watery, spattered, splashed, pulpy, sludgy, squashy. Those are all examples. Then number 2, I hope you see where we're at. We're on the word sloppy, and we're on number 2. So when we're talking about sloppy as an appearance, maybe if I'm sloppy, or maybe my dress is sloppy, or maybe something, maybe a sloppy room, we would be using the words messy, slovenly, careless, frowsy. That's talking about an appearance of a person or maybe an object. If you go to number 3, it's talking about of quality. So let's say a carpenter built a house. So it's talking about how quality of work. So synonyms for that definition would be slipshod, third rate, careless, poor, hit or miss, subpar, remiss, or substandard. That's talking about bad quality. If you look at the second, number 1, number 2, and number 3, the first number 1, number 2, and number 3 were synonyms. What do you think the second 1, 2, and 3 are for? They're for antonyms, which means words that mean the opposite of sloppy. So, number 1 and number 1 go together, number 2 and number 2 go together. These numbers correspond with each other. Let me show you what I mean. So for number 1, an antonym, so look at the second number 1, an antonym would be dry, or drained, or clear, clean, or firm. So one of the synonyms for sloppy for number 1 was slushy. So an antonym for slushy would be dry. Do you see how these correspond with each other? For number 2, one of the synonyms would be messy, talking about an appearance. And an antonym for number 2 would be tidy. So if you're talking about an appearance and you want an antonym, you would go to number 2 and you would find an antonym, talking about appearance. Number 3, now let's talk about of quality. So number 3, we had slipshod, which just means very sloppy and the work was not done well. Remember, this was talking about quality. What would be an antonym for slipshod? Look at number 3 in your antonyms. What do you think? What could be one? Allie, give me one. The first one says up to snuff, or first rate. I like first rate, or I like meticulous too. But so the opposite of slipshod work would be first rate. It's just the best, all right? First rate. So depending on what you're using sloppy for, you're going to be using different synonyms to mean what you're talking about. Whether you're talking about my appearance, or whether you're talking about the quality of how I built a birdhouse. You would be using different synonyms depending on what you're using it for. I did not go over this. So the first, let me see, the second number 1. Find the second number 1 in sloppy. There's a little word, ant, the dot in number 1. This means antonym. So you can always find the word antonym, and then you'll be finding the antonyms for that particular word. Thank you for listening. This was long. On page 264, you do not have to do anything as of today. So you're good to go.